Just to come back to the community of practice before going to Motiro, that will be our main discussion today. So I would like to perhaps to ask Margarita to say a few words about perhaps the notification you noticed each time you receive somebody's posting a message or commenting on one of your message you receive or a notification. This is something you can adapt and manage. The same also for the translation. Margarita, do you want to say something about this?
Yes, can I share my screen?
Yes,
That
of
will
course.
be easier. Okay, yeah, because then that's just easier. So here in the communities, I will start with the translation because I think we have people from Latin America in the call, I believe. In any case, we are advising everyone to use the browser's translator. So here you click on your browser and you will go to translate. And then you can decide you want to translate from English to Chinese or to any other language. So here you see I already translated to Chinese and everything gets translated. Of course, I don't speak Chinese, but just to tell you that the browser is working really good. The automatic translation is working really good. Now I really need to go back to translate it back to my original language because now I'm lost.
That's what happens when you show off. Yeah. Next time, translate into Spanish.
So let me go back. Yes, I should just go back to English. Okay, so now you see that here you can translate into any other language. So you choose whichever language you want, and then you can translate. So let's go back to notifications. I'll go to English because that's our working language. So now you know translation. So don't use. I know that there's like a little. Yeah, there's show translation. This is not working. So please don't click on show translation because this is still not working in the platform. So use the browser's translation. And then for notifications, yes, every time someone posts in the community, you will get a notification by email. If you don't want to receive them, go to your profile and then settings. Go to settings, and then here you can manage notifications. So you will have here notifications, and you can decide which kind of notifications you want to send, you want to receive. I will advise, because this is a very engaging program, to just leave everything the way it is, so you know when someone is posting and you can receive the notification. But if you don't want, you can just unclick. And also, if you're going on holidays or something, you can also say, you can also just click here and you will not stipulate the time that you don't want to receive any email. So you have different options to control notifications, how much engaged you want to continue being in the platform. But I will advise just to maintain all the notifications so you don't miss any important posts. Corinne, any other aspect that you want me to cover?
I asked the group. Any aspect, the group you would like to discuss or to ask to Margarita, or everything is clear with the platform?
Otherwise, I think that people are using it very well, and this group is one of the best ones.
Yes. Repeat.
Yeah, I'm monitoring all the groups, and this is the one with the most activities, people engaging, sharing knowledge. So very, very well done to everyone.
Sorry, with such a subject, we can. We have to be engaging. But anyway, I would like to thank the IFRC because I think it's a great opportunity. This community of practice is a great tool, and that's exactly what we were missing on our issue and in the volunteering alliance. So perhaps do we move on Motiro? I give the floor to Gabrielle.
Okay. Yeah. So, well, no. Before we go to Motiro, let me just explain what we have planned for this webinar for the next 45 minutes. First, I'm gonna brief you on the course. So most of you, I believe, are enrolled in the Motiro Leadership Coach Certificate program. So, which means that at the end of this course, you will all be certified Motiro leadership coaches, which will be just the first step to an incredible progression towards becoming an incredible leadership coach in the future. So this is just the first step. And so I posted a few days ago on the community of practice the 6 modules that constitute the program. And so the first module we actually finished last week. We will be going back to these themes. It's an iterative process. It was about engagement and motivation. So what we actually meant by engagement and motivation. And here, I mean, the replies and the answers and the comments really show that people, I think we also agree on the different facets of motivation and engagement. And these are what we call motivational outcomes. So this is what the outcomes that we want. We want people to be engaged, motivated, to be energetic and all that. So that was module 1. Module 2 started with this survey. So it started at the beginning of the week. And this is a module which is a little more technical, which is about how to run a Motiro survey. So we'll go a little deeper in what Motiro is in this module, starting with this very webinar. The third module is the science behind human motivation. So science is a big word. We're using one theory, one explanation of human motivation, which is called self-determination theory. So we've already mentioned it, and if you went in the topic section, you already got a little preview of what that is. This is a macro theory of human motivation. This means that it's been around for about 40 years. It's been thousands and thousands of people work on it, and it has proven to be a very robust theory that explains a lot, irrespective of culture, gender, age. It's recognized as a theory that works, and you will see it does work. We have now enough data to show that it does work. The fourth module is about leadership and leadership skills, hence the name of this program. This is where we learn and we practice leadership skills, but we have a better understanding of different leadership styles and how these skills, the skills that we teach with Motiro, are probably the most effective in creating motivated teams and high-performing teams. The fifth module will be about how you will run a Motiro survey. So this is actually the fun part. This is where you actually get to practice. So you will be doing what we're doing now. You will be doing it with your teams. So to be a certified coach, you actually have to coach. You have to actually do it. And so by module 5, it'll be very easy for you to do this. You will be able to do this. The last module will be a kind of recap on how we bring all this back together so that we can improve volunteer and staff engagement, motivation, and retention. So we'll be just bringing it all together into one big event. There. So that I wanted for you all to be a little more clear on where we're going with this. Now, each module will take maybe between 2 weeks and 4 weeks. It really depends. If we have a great conversation, if it's very rich, and people are really benefiting, then we might make it last a little longer. If everybody gets it, that's fine. And we know if you get it or not because there are quizzes. So you didn't receive a quiz yet, but you will very soon. The quiz come a little later after the end of the module, so that way it helps you remember what you've learned in the previous model. So if you haven't received a quiz, that's on purpose. It's by design. You'll be getting the quiz on the first module in a few days. But first, we want to work on the survey results. Does anybody have any questions about the program? It's all clear? So what I'd like to do now is to present what Motiro is actually. So you probably have a good idea already. Some of you might have peeked in the topic section. But Motiro is really an approach to volunteer and staff motivation, which is science-based. And it's centered around the Motiro app, which allows you to survey the not just the motivation of your teams, but also allows you to understand the motivation of the teams. Now, it's not just the survey. The survey is just the beginning of the conversation, because the teams then all see the results, and then there's a discussion, a conversation, like one we will have soon, around the results, so that people sort of share the ideas of what these results actually mean. Now, because the survey is based on self-determination theory, i.e. an explanation of motivation, it is very easy to find the root causes of motivational issues. And so this means that thanks to the Motiro app that presents the results in certain ways, teams can have an informed decision, an informed discussion, and take decisions on the types of solutions they want to implement. So we sort of have scripts for how to have these conversations, these team discussions, and that we will be working on together too. So you will have undergone yourselves a complete Motiro journey before you will need to practice with your own teams. I think I'll stop here. All this will become more and more clear as we progress through the program. And I would like maybe just as a moment of philosophy, that Vlad explains to us why Motiro, why is the app and the program called Motiro. So Vlad, why don't you show your face and explain what Motiro means?
So hello everyone, I'm Vladstone or Vlad, and together with Moto, I'm the programmer. We're the programmers that developed the app. And yeah, so the story behind the name is we wanted to pick a name that really reflected our values and what we want this application to be in the world. So we wanted to pick a name that was short, that was pronounceable on every language that everyone could use, and that referred to motivation, to like the energy. And then we did very extensive research and took a very long time, but we found a word in a language called Tupi-Guarani, which is the language of most of South America, like the native indigenous language. And it's Motiro. It means to come together and work for the greater good of the community. So if you're like in a tribe and you want to build like a big house for everyone to use, you would spread the word that there's a Motiro, and then everyone would come together and they would work together and bring about this good change for everyone. And we just thought that that's like exactly what we want to build in our app. Like we want to enable everyone, like everyone that has a team, to be like that tribe that works together and like brings about the great changes in the world. So that's it for Motiro.com.
Wow. Thank you, Vlad. Margarita, perhaps can you stop? Yeah, thank you. Sharing the screen, and we can see each other. Thank you also for showing the important pages on the community of practice. Just what does the app do? Perhaps I will refer to the volunteering policy, because it's important for us in the Red Crescent. So you all, if you saw the volunteering policy, you're working with the volunteering policy, you saw one of the first point is actually asking to the national societies is to measure the level of motivation on a regular basis, to monitor and measure on a regular basis the level of engagement, motivation, and well-being of volunteers. So I think it's an app that really allows it to do. And we also have an indicator with the app, linked to the app, to the policy, sorry. So it's improvement in the level of engagement and motivation of volunteers as measured by motivational tools over time. So it means, and that's also what is very interesting with Moti, Motiro, sorry, is that you can do it over time. It's not like a normal survey when you do it once and then you have to go back. You have no connection. You don't see the team. What you did 6 months ago or 1 year ago. It's a different survey. Everybody has a lot of paper and is a bit disturbed. So I think this is very easy now with the app to do it. Thanks also to this circle function. I don't know if you have questions. So I think that's a very practical way of measuring what the volunteering policy asks to. I don't know now, perhaps Salam, would you like also to explain how you did it in the
Yes.
Lebanese Red Cross?
Yes, yes. What I want to highlight it is, in additional to what Karin said, is the importance of the team discussion. Moto will navigate us at the end of this webinar in the Motiro website to know how to create circles and team and so on. And the most important is that we can measure motivation as per teams and as per branch or circle, what we called it in Motiro. The most important thing is to reflect on the results that we have gained as team level, and to also we can start a focus group discussion with the team members and the leadership with those teams, and in order to reflect the results that we are having from the respondents of the surveys, and something related to the well-being, to the engagement, to the leadership also, and the most important is about the three basic needs, about competency, satisfaction also, and anything. Do you want to, Gabriel, I want to ask you if we can maybe present or share screen about the Motiro results of this team. Do you want to you are muted.
Yeah, sorry. We'll share the screen and show the results in a few minutes. So just tell us about the discussions. So once people have the results,
Yes,
you have a discussion. Okay. And so
Okay.
how did that go in Lebanon?
The most important thing is the discussion in teams, and this is what helped us at as a Lebanese Red Cross or any national societies that can run a Motiro survey or a Motiro journey. The most important thing is a discussion in team, because those discussions will help us to gain or to see the perspective of the volunteer, how they are seeing the results, and to also to extract the solutions or the activities, if we can say, how can we support those volunteers in order to overcome some management issues or some management weaknesses. Also, can we support the volunteers, or what can we do as a leadership in order to let the volunteers feel that they are safe in this group and they are recognized in this group and so on. Everything, the most important is to reflect the Motiro results from the team perspective, so we can understand what they can see and how can we as leadership support them in order to overcome and to increase the motivation level in this way.
Thanks. I would like to complement what Salam said, saying that alongside Motiro, we developed Lead to Change. So Lead to Change, some of you have done Lead to Change or have heard about it. Lead to Change is another IFRC initiative where we learn leadership practices. And so the leadership practices like active listening, creating safe spaces, prototyping, these leadership practices are the very practices that teams would probably see as solutions to their motivational problems. Not always, but some of them. So there's a good complementarity between running a Motiro journey and then taking some modules out of Lead to Change and as a solution. And then obviously a team can do a Motiro survey maybe 3 or 6 months later to see if there has been a change. So if they managed to implement the solutions, if these solutions were effective or not. And what you can even do is you can say, well, our well-being is at, say, 3.4, which is low. We would like it to be at least 4. What do we need to do? And so you come up with all these different solutions, and some of it might just be, being more relaxed and, having fun as you work. And then, 6 months later, did you reach the target of 4 by implementing these solutions? So the team becomes accountable to its own solutions by committing to not just implementing the solutions, but then running another survey to see if the expected results actually arose. So that's in a way it's a 5-step process, and you'll see that in the topic section. There's sort of 5 steps. The first step is, well, you feel that there might be motivational or well-being or an engagement or a retention problem in a team or in a branch or in a national society. And so you sort of wonder, why that is, and you plan a Motiro journey. The second step is you launch the survey and you make sure that your response rate is very high. The third step is you look at the results, you analyze the results. The fourth step is you get the teams to discuss around these results and find solutions to improve these results. Then you run another survey, and that would be step 5. You sort of look at what happened, and then you reflect on what happened, and then you start again, because you need to sustain motivation and engagement and retention. It's not just a one-off. These leadership skills that we practice, these solutions that we implement, we need to sustain them if we want to sustain motivational outcomes. So the Motiro is just not a survey. It's a whole approach. It's a process to sustain high levels of engagement, of motivation, of well-being, of creativity, of innovation, of performance in teams and branches and at the organizational level.
I think Salam wants to say something as champion of Motiro.
Yeah, go for it.
I wanted to add to Gabriel that the importance of running another Motiro survey after 3 months or 6 months or after any duration, for example, is the importance to measure the progress that the team has done in applying the solutions that they have proposed based on the focus group discussion or based on the discussion that was organized with the volunteers or the employees or anyone from this team. Yes. So to measure the progress is the most important things that motivate us to run another Moti survey and to stay in this Motiro journey, as Gabriel said. Yes.
Motiro is about a vibe. He's being in the flow, no?
Yes.
That's it. Just Salam, can you tell us how many branches and how many people in the Lebanese Red Cross did Motiro?
Yes. In Lebanon, we succeeded to apply Motiro during the last year with around more than 45 branches, and we managed to collect respondents from we managed to collect more than 1,700 respondents. The response rate was around 65% or something like this number, maybe. Yes, and those results has helped us to draft a recommendation to the leadership of the sectors in order how they can improve the leadership training for the head of centers or the head of branches, and also how can we add some activities or adapt some approaches in order to encourage the volunteers and to increase motivation on branch level, also on national society level.
Wow. So when I say Salam is our champion in Motiro, I think we could also have Mexico. They were not bad. Just you will go through this Motiro journey during the coaching. I mean, that's the aim of it. And we will share experience on the COP all the time, and also, of course, solution advices, how to improve the response rate, how to lead those conversations with the teams, because that's a question that is all the time coming. So where we will be really happy to have the experience of Salam. Yeah, so that's what we're going to do. But now I would like to give the floor to Moto, and he will show us the app.
Hey, so I have to open system settings to allow Teams to look at my screen. All right, so I have to quickly reopen. I'll be right back.
Do you want me to share screen, Moto?
Yeah, he's a tech guy. So he should be able to share his screen in less than 30 seconds. If not, we'll find another coder. But fortunately, Vlad is here. So
Yes.
in the meantime, does anybody have a question or
That was a
concern?
great demo. Thank you, Moto.
Yeah.
That was great. And Francesca asked, Moto is associated to Motiro. Gabriel?
Well, actually, almost.
Almost,
Well,
yeah.
first it was called Moti, and Moti was I think close to Moto. So people would say it was Motiro. It was Moti for motivation, but we all know because Moto is half Italian, that's a plural of moto. So one moto, two moti, right? But then for some reason that didn't work, so now it's Motiro. But
No, I have a question about the Lebanese what Salam shared was very good, very yeah, impressive. I wanted to know if there are more national societies. In total, how many have gone through that process?
So, do you want, Gain, should I answer? Yeah, so we have varying scales. So we have some nationalities that did it at national level, like the Kyrgyz Red Crescent or the Mexican Red Cross or the Honduras Red Cross. Others have done it with a few groups, like the Cyprus Red Cross or the Finnish Red Cross or the Swiss Red Cross. And then the Lebanese, I think, with the Mexicans are the champions for having the largest number of respondents.
And also perhaps the most consistency. I mean, it was really a process, and they made it very accurate. I would say like this.
Yeah.
Now I think Moto is back.
And I just want to add that the Ukraine Red Cross will do it soon.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
they
Moto
will
is
beat
back.
they will beat the Lebanese.
Yeah, we'll see. Who will challenge who? Moto.
Hey, so can you hear me? Can you see the screen I'm sharing?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry about this little technical issue. So so this is the screen that you see if you register to the app and you log in. What you should see is exactly this, actually, because here the first thing you see is this results page. So here on the top right, you can see written results. And we're directly seeing the results of the survey that we all answered. So here, the survey results, there's two main, we're going to go through it later, but there's two main tabs. There's a dashboard and a reports. The dashboard here shows different scores, like outcomes, motivational outcomes, and scores calculated on the basis of the answers to the survey. Here you can see your own answers with respect to others. Same thing here for this other tab. And we'll go later more in the results, but something you can notice here is that, first of all, there's a button hide my answers. So for instance, if I'm doing a presentation and I don't want to show my results to everyone, I can just hide my answers and we only see the team results and the benchmark. Same thing on the very bottom. So for instance, over here, there's this little question here. I feel I can be myself at work. You can see here the distribution of answers inside a team. And here the triangles shows what I answered. So I answered strongly agree, as did 50% of the team. Whereas, for instance, 27.8% of the team answered somewhat agree. So if I want to do a presentation and hide my answers, I can click here. And then when I come here to the bottom, the triangle with my own answer disappears. That's for privacy. So there's this dashboard we're going to go through later. There's also a report page, which allows us to download different plots of the distribution of answers to specific questions. So we have a benchmark and then how the team answered, And by clicking these little buttons here, we can download them as images. So if you want to include them into like a Word document, a report, whatever, you can download the images and paste them on your computer. So now let's just see how it's going to look like for people here who want to manage teams and run surveys. So over here on the top right, you see there's a little icon with your profile, and you can have any number of teams that you manage. You can create a new team by clicking here, create a new team. We're going to stay on the Motiro Leadership Program team, and we're going to go to the team page. So over here, what you see here, you might see less things because you're not a manager of the team. So for instance, you can't change the name of the team if you're not the manager of the team, but here I could rename the team. Here there's a type of team. So for your volunteers, you can use team type volunteers. And here there's a list of members. So you can search through them, and since I'm a manager, I can make other members managers by clicking this little star. So for instance, I can look for Karine, who's super motivated to be a manager of this team. I'll click over here. Do you want to promote team member to manager? So here, yes, I want to promote Karine Fleurybic at redcross.ch to manager. So confirm, and now she's a manager. So if I search for her again in the list, you can see manager. If I search for myself, you can see I'm also a manager. Then the next thing we can do is we can add members to a team. That's actually generally the first step. If you just created a team, there's nothing in the list above, but here you can add new members. So for instance, I'm gonna create a dummy email address. So, and I can add any number of email addresses here, one per line. So these are just dummy email addresses. So I'll add those to the team. So now they were added. And if I search over here, I can see these teams were added. This Moto +1 dummy address actually already has an account. So I can promote it as a manager if I like, or I can also remove the member. So I'll remove these two members because they're not useful. So once you have all your members that were added to the team, you can run a survey. So how do we do this? We go to the survey tab. So over here, we see that there's already a survey which is in progress. So here you have some information about it. So Moti survey has been dispatched. The Moti survey is the motivation survey. We'll see that then we can also add custom surveys. But the Moti survey here has been dispatched on March 18. It has 29 questions. We can preview them by clicking on this button. So over here, it doesn't actually save my answers. It's just a preview. So you can go through the questions of the Moti survey. 97% of the team received a survey invitation, and 51% of the people who received the survey invitation answered the survey. So I could end the survey here to create a new one, but I'm not going to do it because maybe before April 17, maybe some other people are going to answer the survey. So I'll leave it open. Here we can see again the list of team members, but to see who received the invitation. So if someone has an issue, didn't receive the invitation or lost it, we can click to resend for individual members. So I can do this with myself, for instance. So here I received a survey invitation, but I can click here and I'll receive an invitation again. So now the last thing I'm going to show you is a neat little feature where, okay, this is the Moti survey with the results that we saw, which have to do with motivation. It's our standard survey, but we can also ask custom questions. The way this works is we click here, Snap Survey, and we can create questions here and then start a new survey. So for instance, if I click add question, so I like cats. So this statement, so people can, so on what scale do we want people to answer this? we'll go from strongly disagree to strongly agree. And then if a user answers strongly agree, is it a good thing or a bad thing? This is in order for us then to show the results to know like what's red and what's green. So it's a good thing if people like cats. And so we'll save this question. There you go. And then I can add a second question. This workshop is a lot of fun. Or workshops, let's put it like this. I'll show another scale. So I have fun at these workshops. So now we're going to go on a time scale from never to every time. So if you have answered the survey, you'll recall that some questions can have a frequency answer. So it can be never, sometimes, then it goes to, what is it, like never, rarely, sometimes, and then there's, I can't remember each one, but it goes all the way to every time. Or there's another one that goes to every day, but we'll use every time because we don't have workshops every day. And then if the user answers every time, that's a good thing. Boom, save question. So now we have a snap survey with 2 questions. We can preview it here to see before we send it. So I like cats. This is what it's going to look like. I have fun at workshops. So this is what it looks like. Never, almost never, rarely, sometimes, often, very often, every time. So every time. Submit. And okay, close preview. So I could send this survey, I'm not going to do it, to 107 people by clicking here, Start Survey. And as people will answer, it will then populate over here in the reports. Here we can only display the MOTI survey number 1 from March 24, but there would be the snap survey that appears here in the report page as well. And we would have graphs, I like cats, and I have fun at these workshops.
Could you also say
So
a word about the circle?
Yes, so
feature?
so there's a as a manager, what you can also do if you manage a team is you can add it to a circle. So you click here and create new circle, and then this will allow you to collect your teams into a larger structure. So for instance, over here, you can see on the top here, Motiro Leadership Program is part of a circle, RCRC Volunteering COP. So I'm also a manager of this circle, so I can go here in the list of circles and I can select this circle here. And this circle, it's very similar. There's the same pages on the top. There's results, and instead of a team page, there's a circle page, and then the survey page. In the results, what happens here is that we can see aggregate results for all teams. So if you have 5 teams, you add them all to a circle, and then you can see over here, you can see the data for all the teams. Here it's the same results because we only have 1 team in the circle, but if we had 5 teams, it would be the same. Maybe one last thing I can show in the results page, which was the case both in the team and in the circle view over here, is that there's a filter, and we can filter according to age and gender. So here it will be interesting because if we go, for instance, male, so these are the results for males, and then I can change it to female. And I can see that females here are more engaged, more fulfilled, and find more meaning in their work, for instance. So that's it. Here you have the circle view where you can see that there's 1 constituent to the circle. So there's 1 team inside the circle. And then the managers, we call that the council of the circle, are Gabriel and myself.
Just also one thing about right now the results you show and the all results are the benchmark of the all IFRC feature, all the IFRC sample we had. But I think then as soon as you have more teams, then you will aggregate and have a benchmark just for the circle. Huh? That's important.
Yes. So in the team page as well. So the nice thing here, if I'm in I'm over here in the team, is that you can see, so I'll hide my answers. You can see here, the Motiro leadership program is this team, and here what everyone actually will show after the data here from the circle.
Salam, you want to say something?
Yes, just I want to ask Moto to highlight the confidentiality so that anyone can see the consolidated results of all the team, but no one can see the individual results of the participants.
Yes, exactly. So yes, so the way it works always is that you can see actually when we run the survey, we can see who received an invitation to a survey, but we can't see who answered it and who didn't answer it. So that's the first level of confidentiality, or else someone could observe the results and see how averages move when one person answers. So that wouldn't be good. And that way people know that the data is exclusively on the Motiro servers, and the only person who can see individual data is the person who created the account with the same email address that they were invited to the survey with. So for instance, I was invited to a survey, so here, these are my answers for autonomy, belongingness, and competence. As you can see, I don't feel very competent. That's an issue I'm working on. But I do feel very autonomous, and I feel that I belong. And this, if I don't want to share it with anyone, I don't have to. Like no one's going to see this result. And even when I show my screen, I can hide it. And that's it. People will only see their own answers plus here the aggregate answers.
I think Fraser also asked a question. Sorry to interrupt you. Fraser asked a question.
No problem.
Do you have to be a manager to see the results at the circle level?
So no, because if you're not a manager, you can still see here the benchmark. So it can be the circle's benchmark, and so you can view the results anyway for the larger circle. What we're also working on is an observer feature, so it's going to be out soon. We're making it in partnership with the Ukraine Red Cross and the Spanish Red Cross. And the idea with the observer feature is that it will be possible to be added to a team and to see the results without being part of the team. So that way, external observers or consultants or whatever will also be able to help teams out from the outside without being invited themselves to the survey. So this we're working on.
So you would have to be invited to the circle then to be able to see the circle? How do you get access to the circle?
So right now, if you're part of a team, if your team is part of a circle, even if you're not a manager of the team, you can view the data from the circle and your team here on this page on the dashboard. However, you can't yet go and view the circle and view which other teams are part of the circle. But this will be possible when we have the observer feature. So you can be an observer of a circle, and then you can just go to the circle without being able to tinker with it. You'll be able to see all the same things that the circle manager can see.
Cool, thank you.
Other comments?
Are there any other questions?
I think the best way to get a feel for the app is to play around with it yourselves, and just to navigate it. And you have the opportunity to do so because we have beautiful results on the app. So what I suggest we do in the last 5-6 minutes is we look, and so Moto, just keep the screen. We'll look at the results together, and then on the community of practice, I've posted a few questions. And so this means that, you can reflect on these results. And then if you want, if you're inspired, you post your comments on the community of practice. So I have a couple of questions, and it might be a sort of a homework assignment because I don't want to rush this. The first is to look at the motivational outcomes. So Muto, if you can go on the motivation tab. And then scroll up so we can really see it better. Yep. Okay. Thank you. So as you can see, we have two polygons. We have the red polygon, and that's us. That this is the team, or at least the people who respond to this survey. And then in gray, we have the benchmark. And so my personal experience is that that benchmark is very typical of Red Cross, Red Crescent staff. And so you can see that the shape it's not a perfect hexagon. Quite on the contrary, we can see that well-being is lower than engagement and meaning and perseverance. So the invitation is for you to look at this graph to see how you compare to these two polygons. You know, how do you locate yourself? Does your polygon have the same type of shape? And more specifically, look at well-being. So we saw already that one of the major motivational outcomes is being energetic, feeling strong and vigorous. It is or being frustrated or feeling emotionally drained. So these are the elements that go into the computation of the well-being score. And Motiro, maybe if you scroll down, we can actually, so now go click on well-being. There you go. Okay, so here you have the 3 questions about well-being. At work, I feel strong and vigorous. And actually, I believe we actually asked ourselves the question in one of the first weeks of this community of practice. The other 2 are inverted. So you know, the more frequent you are emotionally drained for your work, the worse off you are. So that's why you see the red is on the right and not on the left. And then the third question is, I feel frustrated by my work. So here you have the distribution of our answers. So we have 51 respondents. So basically, if you hover, let's take the middle one, I feel emotionally drained from my work. If you hover on the yellow, so there you go. So that's half of us are sometimes emotionally drained. But then if you go towards the right, you will see that you have, I can't even read, but maybe Motiro, you can read. So basically, as you can see, and this is typical of the Red Cross, Red Crescent. National Allies and the I4C Secretariat are a humanitarian organization. There's often pressure. And even when there's not an emergency, we still have that culture of pressure. And so people are easily emotionally drained. Now, it's true in most companies in the corporate sector, but this is something important because this could lead to burnout if it lasts too long. So, for those of you who might be in the red zone, it's important to reflect on what you can do to improve your energy levels and to maybe be more energetic. It is about your health, so there's really something that you should be able to do about that. In the same way, those are in the green, and you'll notice that very few people are in the green, very few. Well, think about how you can sustain that and keep it up, because clearly it is not frequent to always feel or to never feel emotionally drained from work. So that's the first thing I would invite you to reflect on, and eventually, if you want, post comments on the community of practice. The second question would be about your colleagues and your team, people around you. Have you noticed that sometimes they lack energy, or that they look tired, they're not very engaged, and it might be that they're not feeling very well, and they might need some compassion. And since compassion is a principle of humanity, if they feel that other members of the team are there to support them, they might feel better, as you would if you're feeling particularly tired. So please reflect on these results. Go to the different tabs, have a look in the topic section on self-determination theory and motivation, and try to figure out, and then obviously we will guide you in the community of practice on the linkages, the relationships between these motivational outcomes that you saw in the spidergram that we just commented. And the relations between these outcomes and the three basic needs of autonomy, belonging, and competence. The leadership styles around you, not least of your supervisor. Do you feel heard? Do you feel understood? Do you feel encouraged? So these would be the, transformational leaders tend to listen empathetically. They show that they understand, and they encourage by giving, constructive feedback. And then, the rewards and the status and the returns that you gain from the national society. All these different factors will influence your motivational outcomes. So I think we need to stop here, unfortunately, because time's up. So please play around with the app, go and explore these results. If you have any insights, please post them on the comments, and we will be posting questions, and please answer these questions. This is part of the journey. It's about connecting with ourselves and to each other, and about gaining a personal insights on motivation. So if we understand our own motivation, our own engagement, we're more likely to be able to understand other people's motivation and engagement, and therefore improve overall motivation engagement in our work in the Red Cross Red Crescent. So does anybody have a question or a comment? Okay. So that, I think, will ends our second Motiro Leadership webinar. I'm thrilled to have you with us. I'm also thrilled to see the incredible activity on the community of practice. So keep it up. We've recorded this, so obviously others will be able to follow the different demonstrations. And so I just
and now
want to
we're
express
gonna
my
play
gratitude.
with the results. That's the most interesting part.
Yes.
So we all motivated. No, so I think we're over. Thanks a lot for your participation.
Mm.
See you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. See you
See
soon.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye.